Well, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. Welcome again to my course. Today it's gonna be the third meeting, right? The third meeting. So let me refresh our mind for reminding the materials of the previous meeting, the first and second meetings. In the first meeting, I think we talked about what is curriculum. And in the second meeting, we talk about what is syllabus. And then I think we need to now to talk more details on the need analysis of parts of the curriculum. Yeah, need analysis. I think the topics today's topic will be need analysis. Before talking about the need analysis, one of the components of the curriculum, I think we need to remind you this things like what we talk about. That's about the steps in designing curriculum. Yeah, in a curriculum, I think these slides will describe, give you descriptions of the general steps in designing curriculum. The first one is the need analysis and trace study or need assessment. Something that we have to see as the curriculum designer is that we need to scientifically see the need. Why do we need a kinds of curriculum? Why do we need to to achieve the goals in the curriculum? Let's say if you have later on we talk about what is need analysis, and then trace a study or need assessment is this the market signal of the curriculum. For example, graduates profile. Before you create a kinds of graduate profile of your institution later on. For example, if you are in a SMP or in SMP, as I told you earlier, that when you create your curriculum for English course, for example, then you have to create graduate profile. But if you see the curriculum or formal curriculum in SMP or SMP, you have already got the graduate profile from the department or the Kementerian or the ministries of the Ministry of Education, I think, or from if you look at the university graduate, then you will see the graduate profile from the university itself. But if you want to create your own English course, for example, you need to create graduate profile of your course. And then you need to create graduate competence. Then materials review can be put over there, and then you will have a course and this credits establishment to credit course and how many credits, lesson plan, teaching methods, and this gonna be the so-called curriculum structure. But before going to that steps, you have to see first what kinds of things you need to show in order that your curriculum is complying the need. It means that you still need these kinds of curriculum. And let's go to the definitions. I think what is meant by needs analysis. Needs analysis is the activity, or refers to the activities that are involved in collecting information that will serve as the basis for developing curriculum or a curriculum that will meet the needs of a particular group of students. And this usually this information is collected by gathering some stakeholders or parents or even the authorities of education to hear some of their inputs about the curriculum that we want to make. A kinds of workshop, something like that, or meeting or test. Round desk discussions, something like collecting focus group discussion. You conduct a focus group discussion to collect information from those particular parties related to the curriculum. So when you are going to make a kinds of English course curriculum, then you need to firstly invite some stakeholders, maybe parents or students and or communities or something like maybe government to hear some of their inputs about the English course in Samarinda, for example. Then you will make a kinds of focus group discussion or workshop, and you write down every points, and you conclude something which is called what is it? Data collections or information from those particular things or particular people. And the information is about the wishes, the desires, and the needs of learning. It's something like what is it? Systematic. You will have a systematic information from them, expectations, requirement, and so on. And the purpose of the what is it? Need analysis. I think you have to do the need analysis because you have to offer the needed foundations, the basis, information basis for development or improvement of education program or social program. As I told you earlier, that when you want to create an English course, for example, you need a kinds of basis, information basis for the future what is it, sustainability of your course. Do you have any markets in the future for students, for example, your students or the learners? Then you try to find out the kinds of program. What kinds of program do you want to create or to make? What kinds of educational curriculum do you want to make ahead? You have to be able to predict what kinds of things they need, something like this. So offering the need foundations. If you don't have any need foundations, you don't have needed foundation, or you don't have any, what is it, ground to find to create some programs. I think you never be able to. I mean, you never get a kinds of what is it, good result. I think that's the first one. The second purpose is restructuring of an organization for improving the performance in relation to the established goal. Why do we need analysis? Because you need a kinds of improvement in terms of performance. So to establish a goal, I think you need the kinds of good goals. To establish what is it, learning goal in a curriculum, you have to see some, what is it, some expectation or some, what is it, some desires or what is it, yeah, let's say a kinds of what people want, what the surrounding people wants about the goal. Then you sometimes need to improve your performance, or you improve your goals every time. So need the kinds of need analysis. Setting up criteria for contract service of human resources training and development. I think a kinds of a criteria is very important. To construct a criteria, I think you need the kinds of what is it, the so-called parameter. The parameters should be put in such things, and you need the kinds of need analysis there. Identifications of solutions for complex problem or issue. I think yeah, the solution can be obtained from such kinds of result in what is it, in need analysis. These are the purposes of need analysis. And then the target, when you do the need analysis, I think you will get the so-called targets. The targets mean some populations or some person that you want to you are expected to participate. This is So in a curriculum, I think the target group, you have target group, you have the audience, you have need analysis themselves, and you have the resources group. So the target group, I think the student in this case, or the teachers, or even the administrators or the program. In this case, I think you need to create a kinds of target group in need analysis. For example, if you want to create a curriculum of English in some English course in Samarinda, then you find what kinds of I mean, what will be your target group. Your target group means what will be the teacher, S1 or S2 teachers. I mean, graduate S1, graduate S2, graduate, or just the third semester students who are able to teach English, and then so on. What kinds of student are you going to target? For example, young learners, or SMP, or even adult students. So you make this kinds of group by targeting this group, and you need a kinds of need analysis for this group, and then you need some inputs from them. And then audience, I think the same. The audience will be teachers or administrators or supervisors or bureaucracy. Those parties, I think, are very important in need analysis. And the need analysis themselves, this is also the target group. The need analysis mean the people who do the need analysis. And then the sources group, I think the informants, stakeholders, parents, as I told earlier, that in a curriculum we need for some information from parents, from communities, from stakeholders, and so on. And I think by having need analysis or target needs, and what is it, learning needs can be identified. Yeah. So in the slide, I think you can read the the target needs. What is the language needed? Something like information that you have to find in the need analysis. For example, the question is why is the language needed? If you see, okay, ask question to other person, other invited person to see this. Because of, for example, because language is English, why English is needed? Why is English needed today? Because some students said because it is important for ujian, for example, for the assessment, the final assessment of the schools, or because we need English for further study, like going abroad and so on. We need language. What is it for maybe for working and so on. So this is the question of why and how will the language be used. How means the way. So you can ask them this, and in target needs, and then how will the content area be? Something like okay, if your English course focuses on the young learners, and then what kinds of material will you give? And then you ask question to them, what kinds of material do you need in this case? So a kinds of inputs from other persons about the needs of the language. Who will the learners use the language with, for example? Some students are from the high status or high economical status families, for example. They need English because they are talking English with their families, something like going abroad, and they have families over there, and they need English because they need to use English for their families, and then this is who will the learners use the English with. But if the the English is for doing the test, for example, doing the final test, final assessment in schools, I think what kinds of material do you need in such kinds of things? So you have necessities, likes, and wants from such kinds of questions. What about the learning needs? The target needs mean the substance of the language. The learning needs, why are the learner taking the course? It's kinds of reason why they need to learn this. And then how do the learners learn? Kinds of delivery, methods of delivery, online learning, or nowadays it is very popular for some course takers, English course takers, in online course, something like if you are interested in opening the online course, it's very easy. Just what is it? Make a collaboration with the IT students, maybe IT students, and then you make a kinds of system of there, and then you open a kinds of class, an online class. So you don't need any rooms. You don't need any printed books. You just copy any book and then give the materials from any sources, and then you can create a kinds of something like cheap, very cheap English course, just paying 100 or 200 or not more than 500 rupiah, I think you get for every person, and then you are teaching online. Something like, what is it? How do the learners learn today? Because today is very hard to what is it to make a face-to-face meeting, for example. What sources are available? Sources like books or internets, like what is it? This is online system and so on. So you can we make a kinds of such kinds of needs. Yeah. Who are the learners? The learners from the what is it? Students, or high school students, or in university students. I think you can what is it? You can identify such kinds of learner by having learning needs in what is it? In need analysis. And need analysis process, I think you can see in the picture. Context, you have a organization analyst, and then person analyst, and operation analyst who needs training. I think it's a sense of thing. So we need a kinds of process to have need analysis, and finally you have outcomes there. The outcomes can be what is it? Something. This is in the context of business. I think in the context of what is it? In the context of curriculum, or in the context of educations, I think we can have what kinds of context. School, what is it? Secondary schools, for example, for organization analysts, and then you have person by person. What kinds of what is it? In how old are the students, and so on, and then you have kinds of things and outcome of learning, like the types of learning, timing, resources, and so on, as I told you earlier. I think that's all for the, and this is the last information about learning need analysis. This is to, what is it, a big picture of having need analysis is that establish context, review case, something like review the knowledge, or attitudes or skills, habits required for the rules. Something like, giving a picture of what is it? Picture of knowledge that you want to achieve later, and then access capability, like something resources, like what is it? The access current capabilities of the staff. I mean, for instance, the competence of staff to access the virtual materials, for example, or kinds of, just like today in our department, it is impossible to have a Zoom meeting. Then we have kinds of alternatives of that. This is kinds of resources, access capabilities of the authorities, yeah, in FK, for example. This is a kinds of, to prepare something needs a kinds of good need analysis. understand resources. Understand resources means to understand, to develop greater understanding of the participants. As I told you earlier, that we have communities, we have parents, students, authorities, even the what is it, the political will and so on. So we need a kinds of things, and then finally you can design solution. You have a kinds of solution to put after you hear some comments from the stakeholders. It is very important to what is it, to hear the stakeholders. This is among other thing, or this is the point, the what is it, the keys of need analysis is that you need to hear someone, or you need to hear some parties comments on your curriculum. So when you want to make a curriculum, you design a curriculum, new curriculum, then you have to hear everyone, to hear every parties. I mean every party to related to, or who are concerned with your what is it, with your curriculum. I mean, this would be very important, because what is happening after that is that your curriculum will be used by them, kinds of parties, I mean stakeholders in this case. Well, I think that's all. Dear students, see you next week. See you next week. Good morning and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.